Yo, yo, what it is, what it was, what's it gonna be?
Welcome.
Welcome to the latest episode of the Gen Expertise Podcast, episode 24, entitled Mamba Mentality and the 5 Pillars of Excellence. We are your hosts, Main and Rants, aka
Welcome.
your purveyors of every and all things Gen X. What's good, brother?
Absolutely. Chilling, man. What's good with you, man?
Ain't nothing, man. Got some record highs in the Bronx with the snowfall this weekend.
Yeah.
So other than that, your boy's been out. Your boy's been out shoveling.
Nothing but fun.
Nothing but fun, yo.
Yeah, we have snow out here too, but nothing like in the city.
Yeah, if you're anywhere on the east, you got hit. You just got hit.
Yeah, the whole East Coast been hit.
You just got hit, son. Funny thing that they were saying, I think I mentioned this to you the other day, 1996, 2006, 2016, and now 2026, blizzards. Every 10 years, like clockwork so far since 96.
That's some sort of omen.
Yes, it's crazy. All the sixes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, Mamba mentality. Since we started the year off, and January is a big resolution month, we started with the Atomic Habits book, and we figured we'd bookend the month with the Mamba mentality. R.I.P. Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, absolutely. R.I.P.
And 2, it just happens to be episode 24, so it's like kismet. Quick, I bet you didn't know this, or maybe you did, because you tend to know a lot of stuff, too.
Maybe. Run it by me.
January the 9th. You know what day that was?
No, you got me.
All right, that was Quitter's Day.
What is Quitter's Day? Sounds like I should be celebrating something.
So
let me know what I need to celebrate. How do I celebrate Quitter's Day?
Quitter's Day is basically the death of your resolution.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you've made it this far, you probably survived Quitter's Day. If you've made it this far with any of your resolutions, then you're probably on the right track.
Odds. Yeah.
At least for the...
Yeah, if you made it this far, you beat the odds.
Yeah, you beat
I didn't
the
know
odds.
that.
It was January 9th this year.
Uh-huh.
So in 2019, in a research conducted by Strava, and Strava is the fitness app where they track running and cycling, they found that 80% of people who made New Year's resolutions quit by the second week of January.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And just so you know that this isn't a fluke, they based it on 800 million user logged activities for that year. So 800 million users. And 80% of them quit by the second week of January.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. Well, at least they're not alone. You know?
So you have officially found your tribe in the
you found your tribe if you quit.
If you quit. So a friend of mine brought it up to me.
Yeah.
And I had heard of it, but since it's so new, like this is 2019, since it's so new, I had forgotten about it. So I went back and I looked and I was like, dag, January 9th. That's like barely the second week of January too, if you think about it. And they narrowed it down to this is the day. And it was 80% of people on this specific day in the second week of January, they quit. So the data starts slowing up. They don't see the runs, the cycling, or much of the enthusiasm as they did when they started the year. So
right.
But if you've made it this far and you're still going and you're still running that race or on that weight loss program or whatever your resolution is, congratulations. You're part of the 20 percentile.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So in honor of those 20%, because we're on the positive tip here, in honor of those 20%, we'll talk about Mamba mentality based off a book. You know, if anybody have read the Kobe Bryant book, the Mamba mentality, I think it was How I Play. That's how he called it. Came out in 2018. And it's a book that I read a few years back. And I thought it would be good to talk about it, especially in January with the whole resolution thing and his 5 pillars of excellence.
Right. And before we start, Vince, I got a facts over funny actually. So I
Oh,
wanna yeah, I
let's
got a
go.
correction to make before we get into it. Last podcast we talked about some of our favorite albums, some of our favorite music and the impact of music, right? And I made a mistake there where I talked about Ice Cube and I Wanna Kill Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And one of our listeners actually sent me a message and let me know that I was wrong about this. And the album was actually Death Certificate.
Mm.
So it was Ice Cube's Death Certificate, not I Wanna Kill Sam. I Wanna Kill Sam was actually just one of the tracks
Mm-hmm.
on the Death Certificate album. So I just wanted to make that correction and, shout out to Ice Cube. I didn't want to. And one more thing I just wanted to touch on and say real quick, man. There's a lot going on, right? Like, and I'm not going to touch on it right now. There's a lot going on in the world, in this
Mm-hmm.
country. And I just wanted to mention really quick, like, Rance and I are not oblivious in any way to what's going on. And some people might ask us, and I know I've been asked, right? Oh, are you going to talk about this? When are you and Rance going to talk about this topic?
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about like current events.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why Rance and I don't do this, and I guess I could speak for myself, and I think I speak for Rance too on this, but and because we've had this discussion, right? One of the things we try not to do on this podcast is in any way, one, we try not to sensationalize anything that's going on and use that as content, like use
As
that
clickbait.
as
Yes.
clickbait or
Mm-hmm.
content. We're trying not to sensationalize things. Two, we're trying not to give you content on things that you already know. You already
Yes.
like things that are you could pretty much get anywhere. That's a lot of things that me and Rance are not going to talk about all the time on this podcast. And then three, we're trying to stick to a certain mission here of adding value, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and we give you kind of our funny stories. You get some nostalgia from us. You get
Mm-hmm.
some kind of Gen X perspective from us. And the most important thing though is that I think that we try our best, even in the funny podcast or even in the times where we probably it sounds like we're laughing the whole time.
Yeah.
We're trying to give you some value, right? Like we see it as our mission to bring some value, whether it be in a recommendation of a book, whether it be some new idea or an old idea that we just introducing to people that may not have heard it before, or maybe we're reminding you of an idea that you may have heard before, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the point is that that's what we're trying to do. Like we're trying to stick to a mission here where we're trying to give you positivity, maybe a break from either the mundane or the chaotic or the traumatizing. Whatever you're feeling out there, this should be sort of a respite from that sometimes too.
Mm-hmm.
But we're really striving to give our listeners some positivity, right? Like, so when you listen to us, just know that, like, we're trying to give you some food for thought, something positive, maybe a laugh here and there,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because that's something that's been, it's been on my mind. It's something that you and I have talked about, like, but there's a reason why you may not hear the same things from us as you maybe hear
Mm-hmm.
from other podcasters and other content creators.
Yeah.
We're really striving to stick to a mission and to be that kind of positive force and that positive source of information for our listeners. So I just wanted to say that before we start.
Well said, my brother. Well said. But
Very articulate.
yes, yes. Just to add on that just a little bit, everyone has their lane. And this is our lane. We've made a conscious decision to find our own lane, something that we feel we don't see, we don't hear a lot, especially at this time of what's going on. Most of you guys who are our regular listeners either know us personally before this or now you know us now, if that
Right.
makes any sense.
It makes some sense. If
You
you knew
know?
us then, you know us
So
now.
so either you know our story or you've heard our story.
Right.
And having said that, just knowing our story and hearing our story, you should realize we are well aware of what's going on. We are well aware of what's going on in this world. But instead of putting out something that you're going to see 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times, do you really want to put on your headphones and hear it again and again and again and again? So this is our lane. This is what we're doing.
Right.
No. And maybe there will be a time where we get a little deeper into some things in politics, but more than likely not.
Yeah, for now, if you want my opinion or Rance's opinion on something that's going on currently, you're gonna have to reach out on our social media
Yeah.
and hit us up directly, because that's the
Yeah,
way
you
that's
could
how you
find
get
us
that.
on our personal Instagram pages.
Yeah, find us personally if you want to hear what we think about certain things. But for now, we're gonna give you positivity and things that may add value to your life as we see it.
Yeah, as we see it. So, on with the show.
Yeah, and now previously on Gen Expertise.
Mamba mentality and the 5 pillars of excellence. Everybody knows Kobe Bryant. Well, maybe not everybody, but most people know Kobe Bryant is well known for his work ethic, his focus, and, as he says, his willingness to rip your heart out on a basketball court.
Yeah.
So while we're not telling you to go out there and rip anybody's heart out on a basketball court or at your job or
Or anywhere for that
or,
matter.
or the supermarket,
Yeah. Don't rip anybody's heart out. How about that?
you can take some of these aspects of his philosophy and apply that to yourself. I found it a valuable lesson for myself, lesson that I plan on instilling in my kids somewhere down the line. And you know the craziest thing too, man, we talked about this. Kobe was not one of the most popular players when he played. It wasn't until like he retired that he really started garnering like all this love and appreciation when he left the game. And then of course when he passed, he's legendary now. But he wasn't somebody who a lot of people probably were willing to take advice about, because he was probably destroying your favorite team in the process. So in his book, he came up with these 5 pillars of excellence: passion, obsessiveness, relentlessness, resiliency, and fearlessness. And these are just some of the few things that we're going to talk with today on today's episode. And we'll start with the first one is passion, which is loving the process. You can't really succeed at anything if you don't have an extreme love or a passion for what you're doing. If you want to paint and you don't like to paint, you're probably not going to be the best painter. As one of my uncles once told me, if you're going to do something, try to be the best at it. Especially when you're younger, you don't really know what you want to be or what you want to do. So if you find something that you really want to do, it's imperative, and it would, big word of the podcast, it would behoove you.
I don't often get to use that word, so
So,
what does
yo,
that?
that might have to be a new segment on our show, the big word of the podcast.
I don't know. I don't know.
Kobe believed that passion is the foundation. He believed to truly excel at something, you must love the process, not just the results. Love provides the fuel needed to endure the sacrifices and long hours required for greatness.
This it's interesting how this kind of aligns with Atomic Habits in a little bit, right? Like when I
Yeah.
thought about this, when I started to read about the Mamba mentality and these 5 pillars, I thought about like how there's kind of a universal truth behind these things, right? And you talk about passion, and you talk about the fact that it's not having a constant excitement about something. It involves kind of falling in love with the journey, though, falling in love with the process that it would take to get to your goal or to achieve or accomplish what it is you're trying to get to. And that seems to be a common theme. If you read self-help books, if you read Atomic Habits, you read James Clear, and if you read about anybody that's successful, pretty much, they had to fall in love with the process, right? Because you're not gonna get the goal every day, right? Like but you do get the process every day to get to that goal, right? Like if you're really serious about it, the process is something you got to face every day. So passion to me is really falling in love with that journey. But that seems to be the universal truth. And anybody that's successful has had to get in that mentality, right? To really fall in love with the reps, right? Doing those
Yes.
reps.
Yeah, it's passion. That's number 1. This is going to be a quick show today. Number 2, obsessiveness. This pillar is about attention to detail. One of the things that Kobe had was his he called it his 666 workout routine, where he worked out 6 hours a day, 6 days a week for 6 months in his 6-month off season.
Uh-huh.
Many of you guys may have heard of, many may not have, a CT Fletcher. You heard of CT Fletcher? You know, the
Yeah, of
bodybuilder
course, the
guy on
bodybuilder.
YouTube.
Yeah, of course.
And
Yeah,
he has like a
Compton Superman.
Yes,
Shout
Compton
out to CT
Superman.
Fletcher. Yeah, of
And he
course.
has like
Big
this
fan.
documentary called like My Beautiful Obsession. And he talks
Yeah,
about
yeah.
how to be great, he had to literally to be obsessed with what you want to accomplish.
Right.
You know, and Kobe had his 666 rule, where he did a 2-hour workout 3 times a day. And his first one would be like he got his shots up, where he would get up about 1,000 shots in a session, which is a lot. And then he would do his cardio for 2 hours, and then he would weight lift. And he came up with this when he explained that the routine was mathematical in the way that he approached it, because he explained that if one of his peers started training at 10 a.m. and finished by 12 p.m., they could only fit in 2 sessions a day. But by him starting at 4 a.m., he could fit in 4 sessions: a 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. session, a 9 a.m. to an 11 a.m. session, a 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. session, and a 7 to 9 p.m. session. So he deduced that by year 5 or 6, it doesn't matter what type of work his competition is doing in the summer, because they're never going to be able to catch up to him. So in his mind, he's like, there's nothing that you could do that can catch me, because I'm working out 6 hours a day, 6 days a week for 6 months. So by the time you take any days off, and that's a wrap for you.
Yeah.
You
You're
know, he
behind.
got it down to it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know? Now, nobody's saying that you should take this approach, but to go back to, like, we talked about Malcolm Gladwell and his 10,000 hours in one of our early episodes. To be great, you can't just do something for 45 minutes a week and expect to get results.
Right.
You know, you have to put a plan together, and you have to constantly sharpen your sword. You have to do it again and again and again and again and again. There's a player, I can't remember the player's name, so I can't really give him credit, but they were talking about, he was a pro player, and he said, I'm a professional basketball player. I play basketball when I don't want to play basketball.
Huh.
And that's what it takes. There's a love for it. When you first start out, like, let's say I'll go back to being a painter. When you're a child and you're just doodling and you realize you want to paint. But then if you want to get Bob Ross status,
Happy little trees.
because it's your world, B. You want to get that Bob. You got to put in that time. You got to put in that time, and maybe not. You don't have to do 6 hours a day for 6 months. Is 6 hours for 6 days a week for 6 months at a time, but you do have to put in that work. You do have to have some type of a healthy obsession.
Right.
If you really want to succeed at what you want to do. If you're studying for a test, you can't just not open the book and not study. If you want to get your weight loss, you have a weight loss journey, or you're trying to get fit, you can't just show up at the gym for 5 minutes. Eventually, you have to do more. You have to do more, a little every day, a little every day. And this is what we go back to with Atomic Habits, which we talked back at the beginning of the month. So you have to be obsessed. You have to have a certain level of obsession. I like to say a healthy level of obsession. But if you want to be that
Kobe
1%
would agree
of the
with you on the healthy
1%,
part.
yeah.
I feel like Kobe would just leave it at obsession. Like,
Yeah, said Kobe would be like, if you want to be the 1% of the 1%.
yeah, he would just leave it at obsession. Forget healthy obsession. But no,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with you though, for sure, like
Mhm.
100%. And it's interesting because you know, I think you and I both follow some interesting people online, like, you know, and we've probably been following their interviews and stuff like that. Like you mentioned, CC Fletcher, and there's another one. I gotta apologize to him online, at least, for forgetting his name. But there's a motivational speaker. I think it's is it Eric Taylor?
Eric Thomas.
Eric Thomas. Sorry,
Eric Thomas,
Eric
the hip hop
Thomas. Yes,
preacher. Mhm.
yes, Eric Thomas. That's exactly what I'm thinking about.
Mhm.
So he says, and I'm paraphrasing him, but he tells a story about how, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you're gonna find your breakthrough, right?
Mhm.
You have to want it that bad. So it feels like that's kind of a reoccurring theme amongst like great people, people that having to lead by example, and not only be motivational in their speaking, but kind of walk the talk, right? Those
Mhm.
people tend to be the people that are obsessed, man. And even if you think about like when you think about Kobe, it was definitely there, man. Like the Mamba mentality,
Mhm.
it kind of speaks for itself. One thing I've read about the Mamba is that it's one of the most precise and fastest creatures in the wild. He named himself that for a reason because it's deadly, it's precise, and it's focused. And I guess that's what he he wanted to be
Yeah.
known for. So you see it in him, you see it in other basketball players, like definitely in like kind of like Michael Jordan, and it feels like for a long time Kobe kind of patterned himself after Michael Jordan, right? And when you're chasing that type of greatness, it's going to require that you dedicate your whole self to it, right? And that's why I
Mhm.
see the obsession, man. Like kind of at least for some period of time, dedicating your entire self to something, man. And even if it means sacrificing time with your family, even if it means
Mhm.
sacrificing some things that you personally want to do outside of
Mhm.
that. If you really want to be, like you said, like that one percenter, that top of the top, you have to make sacrifices and you have to become obsessed, at least for some period of time. Like
Yeah.
DJ Shipley, for those of you that don't know who DJ Shipley is, he's a former Navy SEAL who's also, you can find him online doing podcasts and motivational speaking. Um, he talks about the difference between dials and switches, right? And he says when you're young, you could have switches, which means you could turn it on and you could turn it off. But when
Mhm.
it's on, it's just all the way on, right? But he says like as you get older and as you get kind of more responsibilities, as you get more kind of things in your purview or in your bag, so to speak, like you get a family or you get some other responsibilities, those switches that you had when you were younger that just flip on and off, sometimes those have to turn into dials, right? Like where
Mhm.
you could dial down maybe, whatever that obsession is, you dial that down when you're with your family and you dial up the husband, you dial up the father, you dial up, dial up those things that you need at the time, right? You learn to compartmentalize things and give your total focus to the thing that's in front of you, but you're not completely sacrificing everything in favor of this one obsession, right? So,
Mhm.
but it seems like the common theme is that even with DJ Shipley and when I've heard him speak in his interviews, he's saying that his advice to young people that are trying to pursue a goal is that for some time you got to just have a switch where you just turn it on and you're focused and you build such a foundation that nothing can shake it. And then after you've built that unshakable foundation and you become the top of the top, then you could dial it down and you could focus on other things. But it feels like that obsession has to come at some point. You got to be obsessed in order to be the top of the top.
This is anything in life. Like if you're in high school, if you're in elementary school, like
Uh-huh.
if you want to be something, you're gonna have to like skip out on some parties. You're gonna have to
Right.
miss out on some things. I remember when I went to high school and I realized that I wasn't going to be able to go outside as much as I wanted to go outside because I was going to have use some of that time to study. You know, and I mean, these are things that you have to make if you're serious about what you want to do or what you want to be. These are things that you have to sacrifice. Something has to get sacrificed to gain something that you want if it's worth it. And once you get towards the end of that goal, you realize that it was a small price to pay. But you do hear in a lot of cases when you hear like Hall of Famers in their Hall of Fame speeches, thanking their
Yeah, I was about
families
to say.
for what they did to the family, how they in order to
I was about
chase
to
their
say
dreams.
a small price to pay. Like I've heard a few
Yeah.
people apologizing to their kids
Oh my
for all the
gosh.
time that they didn't spend with them, and
Yeah.
but to your point, man, like I think I think you're right that this obviously applies to anything. Right? Kobe, obviously one of the greatest basketball players, arguably of all time, but that mentality and this idea of having an obsession with something, being very consistent and working hard at it every day, that applies to almost anything, man. Like you think about any goal that you're trying to accomplish, it's going to require sort of an extreme focus at least at first, okay? Especially in, when you're first starting out, or when you're a novice, or when you're chasing after folks that are better than you.
Mhm.
um you're gonna have to have that extreme focus, man, whether it be in your profession. We talk about, like I said, like you said, it's not just about sports, man. This could be in your profession. This could
Mhm.
even be in your life, and the way you interact with your family and your kids, to be honest with you.
Yes.
This applies to anything that is a goal in your life. Like,
Mhm.
if your goal is, hey, I'm gonna be the best father I could be, you need to put together a plan, and
Mhm.
you need to focus on that plan, and you need to work at that every day, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
not something that happens in one big session, right? Like, I don't take my kids to Disney World over the weekend and think that, oh, I'm gonna I'm father of
Yeah.
I'm the best father in the world for the rest of their lives.
Get that
Like, that's
dad Hall of Fame
yeah,
mug.
I
All
don't
of
make
that.
the yeah, I don't make the Hall of Fame for that one trip to Disney World, right? But
Mhm.
but I do make it if every day I'm consistent in showing them in some way that I love them, and putting my time in with them, and making sure that we're connecting, right? And when I'm with them, giving them 100% of my focus. I'm not thinking
Mhm.
about work when I'm with them. I'm putting everything away at that time. And that's that whole idea of like dials and switches again. Like, I'm dialing down, you know, whatever professional man would do, and now I'm I'm daddy, right?
Mhm.
And I'm doing that with all my focus and everything I got, right? And if I'm doing that consistently and over time, then I make father of the year, or I make father, like lifetime achievement for dads,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever, whatever. Or maybe there's no reward, but
You know,
you know what I mean.
you don't get put in a home.
Yeah, you don't get put in a maybe I get to live at home in my old age, instead of being put in a nursing home or something, but
Yes, man. Yes, yes.
or maybe
So
not.
obsession.
So there's that.
The second pillar.
Two.
The third pillar we have resiliency. I'm sorry, the third pillar we have relentlessness. Relentlessness is the drive to keep going when others stop. It means being unyielding in your pursuit and refusing to settle for good enough.
Huh.
Relentless. So it's kind of like relentlessness and obsessiveness kind of go hand in hand, it seems.
Yeah.
Especially with him.
Yeah.
You, you know,
Yeah.
if you're relentlessly obsessive, you can't lose, bro. It's just when I think of it though, it's just the drive to keep going and the stick to itiveness of it all.
Yeah.
What's the saying? Get knocked down 8 times, stand up 9. All those type of cheesy sayings and stuff that they
I
say.
never
Just
understood that. Like, if you get knocked down eight
uh-huh.
times, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you get up 8 times? Like, so you get knocked down once, get up
Get knocked
once.
down once, you
Get
get up
knocked down
once.
twice,
Yeah.
get up twice. Get knocked
Three
down three
times.
times,
Yeah.
up 3 times. Four, you get up the fourth time. Five, get up the fifth time, and so
You know,
on and so on and so on. But I never understood that. You know what? I'm getting off on this. Sorry, man.
maybe the ninth
We
one,
are-
maybe the ninth one you stand up like extra tall.
I'm off. I'm off on a tangent. So yeah,
Like you
comment on our
really
social media. Like, if anybody understands the meaning of that saying, get knocked down 8 times, or not, whatever it is, 9 times, and get up 10 times.
yeah.
I don't understand how you could get up more times than you've been knocked down.
Mm.
Wait, man. I didn't. Sorry, man.
You know what? It's one heck of a marketing ploy though, because you hear this. That saying has sold a lot of sneakers, man.
Yeah, man. I never understood that. I'm like, am I crazy, or am
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
sure.
stupid?
Yeah,
Like, am I dumb? Like, you get knocked down 8 times.
yeah.
Anyway, man.
And you get up 9. I don't know. Maybe it just sounds extra dramatic. It sounds
Yeah,
like one of
somebody,
those things where it just sounds so good that
please,
you're like,
somebody out
yeah,
there,
yeah,
reach out to us on our Instagram or somewhere, and let us know what that means.
yeah, yeah.
Can you actually get up more times than you were knocked down?
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Oh.
because maybe
So,
I don't know, but yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
so
ahead.
with Kobe and his relentlessness, he had this relentless pursuit of like surpassing Jordan. You know, that was what it he played like Jordan. Jordan was his idol, of course. But he kind of like built his whole drive was to like Jordan had 6 rings. He wanted to at least get 6 rings. I think
Right.
he came up what, one short? I think he had 5. Kobe had 5. But he always wanted to outdo Jordan. And that relentless pursuit is what made him arguably one of the top 3 players to ever play. You know, on a lot of people's list, definitely the second best 2 guard. While in my personal opinion, I don't think he did catch or surpass Jordan, but I think that he's come closer than any man that's ever lived in his life to that feat.
And I'm not gonna pretend like I'm the super, sports fan or anything like that. But
Yeah.
Kobe has such an impact culturally that he's one of those people that I did follow, right? Like, so I
Hmm.
feel like, um, as far as the comparisons with Jordan, I feel like for a long time before he was able to find his own lane, so to speak, or his own identity,
Hmm.
he patterned himself so much after Jordan, man. Like, that it was hard not to compare the two because even the moves was his moves were similar as at one point. The way
Yes.
he carried himself, even the way he would walk down the court at one point was very
Hmm.
similar to even the gait that he would have when he walked was
Hmm.
similar to Jordan. So like you said, like I feel like he came extremely close and he had those really, really outstanding shining moments, like that 81 point game. Um to name one, but his impact on culture, I think, was also comparable, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Michael Jordan is like if not the one of the best basketball players that ever played the game.
Hmm.
Some people have him at number one. Some people
Yeah.
have him at number two.
Yeah. Depending
Um,
on your generation is where you.
yeah, it
I'm
seems
noticing.
it definitely
Yeah.
seems generational. But
Hmm.
yeah, I say all that to say that Kobe had more. He was more than just a basketball player. Like that Mamba mentality was something that kind of transcended basketball, right? Like in the same way that I think Michael Jordan transcends basketball, right? Like Michael
Hmm.
Jordan, you know the mentality, you know when you're seeing greatness, you know when you're seeing that obsessive nature to be the best at something, right? It
Hmm.
doesn't matter what it is. When you see that, it's something that you have to take notice of, even if you're not exactly like a basketball fanatic. When you see somebody like a Kobe Bryant play the game, and when you hear him speak about the effort that he's putting in and what he's willing to do to be the best, it's
Hmm.
something you can't help but to notice, and it's something that you can't help but to take a little bit of inspiration from. Even if you don't act on it right away, even if you don't have the discipline to keep up with that same sort of obsessiveness with anything you're pursuing, it's still something that impacts you in some way. It's admirable.
Yeah.
It's almost scary. Like when you
Yeah.
see a person like this, you're
Yeah.
almost like, wow, like how could I ever get to that point where I'm this focused and this obsessed and
Hmm.
this ready to sacrifice? Like making myself this person is something that's daunting. So yeah.
And you're talking about somebody who's, as I call them, like the 1% of the 1%ers. Imagine if you just took a small percentage
Right.
of
Right.
his mentality and how he won his work ethic, how he went about. Um, if you just took a small percent of, like, you can literally chase him, fall so short, but still accomplish something great. It's some people are just so far ahead. For instance, like Jordan, but Kobe was like, "Yo, I'm chasing him. I want to be better than that man." And in some people's eyes, he may have fell short, but look where he ended up, which
Right.
is nuts. You
Right.
know, just because of that laser-like focus, that constant pursuit of of what he wanted to accomplish.
Right.
So you have to be relentless. Pillar number 3.
Three.
3. Pillar number 4. Now we have resiliency, which is basically just the ability to bounce back.
Mm.
Um, Now everyone knows, or I keep saying everyone knows, but everyone doesn't know everything about all the stuff that we talk about. But Kobe Bryant was was known to like battle through a lot of injury, especially at the end of his career, towards the later part of the career when he was aging. He tore
Mhm.
his Achilles on court and then came back out on the torn Achilles to make sure that he shoots his own free throws. He tore a labrum in his right shoulder, I believe, one time, and then just decided he was going to shoot with his left hand in
Mm,
game.
mm,
So
mm.
yeah, man, that's crazy. How many people
I think
tear their
Larry
labrum
Bird
and
did that. Like, I think Larry Bird hurt himself one time and shot.
left?
I think he shot lefty for a whole game.
I
Um,
know that Larry Legend, I'm gonna give that man his respect.
yeah,
That when the late great Len Bias, when they found out they were drafting him, he like went all summer to shoot with his left hand just to
yeah,
get better. Like Larry Bird would work on his game.
yeah. But if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
he did it like and I think it was I got to maybe we'll do a facts over funny on this, but
yeah,
I feel like he did it like on a bet or something.
yeah. He
It was
probably
something
did. Mhm.
silly like where he just took it as a challenge and
Mhm.
like played with his left, like shooting with his left the whole time,
Oh, I
like a
think
whole
during the
game.
game you talking about, did you hear like he shot a left-handed bank shot and called glass or something on somebody in game? I
I don't
think he
remember that
did
much
something like
detail,
that too. He did
but it,
something crazy like
yeah,
that too, I
something. It was
think. But
something crazy though. Like it was
yeah,
something
so
like not that he didn't have to do. Like he just
hmm
decided that he was gonna shoot with his left hand
yeah.
for a whole game. But I'll look up the detail on it and maybe we do
Yeah.
a little facts over funny. But
So Maine talked about in one of our prior episodes how he took all these tests for these city tests and he didn't get any callbacks. And there's constantly doors being
the doors are being slammed in my face.
doors are being slammed in his face. But he didn't give up. But you did give up, my man. You know what I mean? So there's gonna be times when things don't work out in your favor, but don't get discouraged. You gotta snap back, man. You gotta bounce back. So you didn't get that job that you thought you was gonna get. You gotta bounce back. You know?
I gave up on. I did give up on the city though. Like I gave up on the idea of working for the city.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But you didn't give up on filling out applications. So
yeah, I didn't give up on the idea that I'm gonna need
then I'm
gainful
gonna need a
employment.
job.
Yeah. This might not be the most motivational speech,
Yeah.
but all of us need to eat food and
Yes.
have shelter. So I didn't give up on looking for a job. So if that gives you some motivation, do with that what you will.
Yeah, motivation is where you find it. Shout out to May with the bounce back. You know, he wouldn't be where he is today. But just in general, just your ability to roll with the punches. Just roll with the punches. You're not going to get everything you want in life. Things are not always going to go well. Your weight loss journey isn't always going to work. You may lose a bunch of weight in the first couple of weeks, and then you may plateau a little bit. You may break the diet. You may skip the gym a day, but you have to keep going. You have to have that bounce back. Because that's what helps you get through life, just in general. I mean, this is we talk a lot about sports here, but this is like sports and life here, because one mimics the other, so to speak. I feel like boardrooms would be way more entertainment if you guys had like, let's win one for the Gipper speeches.
You'd be surprised how many speeches they do have like that.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of motivational speeches going on in the offices.
Yeah.
More than you might imagine. So maybe too many.
What's
For
the
what?
commercial with all of the people like calling them rock stars and they have
Yeah,
like the real rock stars
right, right,
coming in? It's like,
exactly.
yo, everyone's not a rock
You're
star.
not a rock star.
Yeah.
You're you work in an office. You're not a rock star. But yeah, there's a lot of motivational speeches, man. Sometimes, for better or
Uh-huh.
worse.
You know.
Um,
But maybe
some
they need to like jump on the table and like slam a Gatorade.
yeah, that would be entertaining. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
man. You
sure.
just have a Gatorade thing and a cooler in the back just in case,
And
just for
you get to dump it on your boss,
you can
and you
dump
make
it
it
on
when
your boss because you made this.
you finish a big project and dump Gatorade on your boss. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
man.
would be now. I'm all for that. I vote for that.
Yeah,
But
man. Last
the,
quarter we didn't do so well, but this quarter, way to bounce back, guys. I bet
the
you're wondering
get
what this Gatorade
the
cooler's doing in the corner.
get the
I thought
dump
just to
Gatorade.
boost a little morale, why don't you guys dunk me in it?
Yeah, I'm all for that. But
So
it seems
resilient.
like some of these pillars, man, they overlap, right? Like because when you're
Yes.
talking about resilience,
Yes.
it feels like that overlaps kind of with passion that we were talking about, like falling in love with the journey, right? And it
Yeah.
feels like if you are kind of obsessed and you have fallen in love with the journey and the path to
Mm-hmm.
your goal, so to speak, um, that resilience is going to come along with it, right? Like that ability to bounce back from adversity or from obstacles. Like you said, from somebody telling you no, right? Like there's going to be
Mm-hmm.
times where you're trying to achieve something, you worked extremely hard for it, and you're still gonna hear no, or you still may falter, man. Like you may fail at something that you worked extremely hard for, but the key is to stay on that path, right? Like if that's something you really want, you stay on the path, right? You are resilient if you can hear the word no
Yeah.
and keep going. If you can fail and then get up, use that failure as a lessons learned type of situation where you start to like kind of recalibrate and look back and look at,
Mm-hmm.
hey, here's what I could do differently next time, and you just keep going. That's what resilience is to me. Yeah, I definitely see these things overlapping. And like I said, like it feels like there's like a lot of universal truth in these, right? Because I feel
Yeah.
like Kobe certainly put these into like kind of a framework that he's calling the Mamba mentality for a reason.
Yeah.
But these things seem to be universally true, and you'll find them in other people that you probably admire. Even Mike Tyson talks about the idea of doing something that you don't want to do as if
Mm-hmm.
you love it, right?
Yeah.
And he talks about that as being kind of, and I'm paraphrasing him too, but I feel like he was saying that that's kind of the meaning of discipline, right?
Yeah.
That you do something that you don't want to do and you do it like you love it,
Like you
right?
love
And he
it.
was talking about his workouts and his training to be a champion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way you become a champion. You get up and you do that workout, you do that training session, you practice even when you don't want to because you
Mm-hmm.
know that that's the path, right? You know, it's not the workout that you want, it's the goal. It's not the diet that you want, it's the weight loss or the to
Mm-hmm.
feel better or whatever the case may be. You know, you want the end result even on the days where you don't want to do it at all,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And that's when you reach the breakthroughs, right?
Isn't it crazy how Mike Tyson has become like one of the philosophers of our time? Like if you look on if
But
you look
it would be a person that has gone through like this is some
yes.
real this is a Gen X thing too, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we kind of we grew up with we didn't not kind of but we grew up watching Mike, right? Like so
Yeah.
you see him and you see what he went through. All the adversity, you see him come up, you know, as a young man through the ranks and you is kind of skyrocketing to
Mm-hmm.
like fame and success and you kind of witness that at least from a fan's point of view, you get to watch that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then being from New York, he has like a special place in our hearts too.
Yeah.
And then you see him come full circle now as like you said, like he's kind of one of the great minds. He's like a guru almost like in
Dude.
terms of like his philosophy and the way he reflects on his own life and he
Yeah.
applies that to his advice to people a lot of times. Watch him on YouTube every once in a while, his
Mm-hmm.
podcast. And just the lessons he's learned, man, and you get a lot from him, man. You get a sense of like what he's learned, you get a sense of what he regrets, you get a sense of like what he's happy about, you know, what makes him happy now. And it's completely different, obviously, than what he would have said when he was in his 20s. But like you said, like all the stuff that he's gone through has built that wisdom, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels like sometimes you need to go through all of that to be wise. The wisdom comes with old age, it comes with experience.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you experience, obviously, the more you have to provide. Like when somebody asks you a question, like
Yeah.
you have a lot to spill, you know?
You got a lot in the suitcase, boy. Like, yo, you really want me to open this up? I'll open this up if you want. You really want me to open this up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mike could
It's
tell you some
crazy, yeah.
things. Yeah.
Mike is like
Yeah.
he's
Mike
like
could
the
tell you what to do and
Socrates or
how to do it.
something now.
Yeah.
I was looking at a Mike Tyson, it was like an hour or something, and it was just him just saying all these sayings. But the thing with Mike is that he says it so calm and his introspective makes you want to listen to it more because you're just used to him being like a wild madman, as we've watched him
Right.
growing up. But just to see him like just sit down and just talk about the things that he's seen and for him to, it's just amazing. It's amazing how it's like the second chapter is crazy compared to the
Yeah,
first.
he's having a like a great like, second act,
Yeah.
Um, and it's beautiful to see because, like I said, we grew up with Mike Tyson. You
Hmm.
grew up watching him being ferocious. He was another kind of like a pillar in the culture, like a
Hmm.
really impactful person to our culture, like hip hop, black culture, sports culture, you
Yeah.
name it, just pop culture in general. He was a major impact on us, right? Just seeing him was like watching a superhero fight because
Yeah.
his fights would last like like a minute and 30
Oh,
seconds because nobody could stand up to his punch,
yeah.
like so. But yeah, I mean, but the point is that it's interesting and fascinating to see now he is like a guru or like a person that's so wise that he could provide advice. He could provide stories. Like you said, he's introspective. Um, but yeah, he's definitely another person that you could kind of model your mentality after if you're trying to accomplish a goal, right? Like he's just another one of those figures that stand out as a model for that, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Iron Mike, man.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely. Absolutely.
All right. So we're on to our fifth and final pillar. Fearlessness, basically your willingness to fail. Or as they say, scared money don't make money. As especially when you're starting something out new. Um, you're not gonna be good at it right away. But are you willing to be bad in order to be good?
Hmm. Right.
Do you, yo, that's profound, son.
No, that's a that's a good one, man. Like they say like everybody, no one starts out as a master, right? Like everybody
Yeah,
starts out a novice, right? So you have to be willing to look foolish in order to become good at anything because everybody starts out a novice, right? It sounds obvious, but I think a lot of people don't start things and a lot of people don't finish things because of the difficulty of being a beginner, right?
right.
And especially in a field or in a situation where people are watching you, so even us, man, look at us. Like we're doing a podcast for the first time ever, obviously, right? Like
Mhm,
we're doing this, and it makes us kind of vulnerable. We're telling stories about our lives.
mhm.
Some of it is funny, but it's still like a vulnerability there, like where you have to be new to this in order to get better at it,
Yeah.
right? So and by making it public, by publishing a podcast out like we're doing, putting this out to everyone. Now it's on video, by the way, it's on YouTube.
Yes, we
At
are.
least the last few episodes are on YouTube now.
Mhm.
If you didn't know, catch us on YouTube.
Yes.
So but the point is you have to like get rid of that fear in order to get to some level of proficiency because it requires that you're okay with being bad at something or being a novice or being a beginner or
Yes.
tripping up and letting people see that is an especially vulnerable position to be in. But if you
Yes.
can get past that and kind of bury that fear for a little while, you that's the only way to get your reps in, right?
Yes.
Um
And if you haven't noticed so far, Maine and I are very okay with being bad at something until we get
oh yeah. I've learned over time that
there
it's the
there
only
have been
way.
a lot of failures along the way on this.
The only way is through.
you know? But the reward, we feel the reward is better than the fez. It's worth it. It's also it makes it's one for the rocking chair, as they say. You you know what I mean? Oh, I can't wait to tell my son, like, you think you're bad at something? Oh, my daughter, you think watch this.
Listen
You know
to
what I mean?
episode 1. Go
Yeah.
to episode 1.
So you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid to fail. If the first person that ever flew was afraid to fly, and we wouldn't be flying in airplanes now. If the first, it's a lot of things that have been first, that there was possibly a zero success rate the first couple of times. Maybe the
Right.
first few hundred times, you never know until they got it right.
And the other thing is, at least what I think about fear, right, is that fear is gonna be there, right? And sometimes fear is helpful. Fear is part of your primitive brain trying to protect you,
Mhm.
right? So fear will be there. But I think
Yeah.
where the courage comes in, and folks have probably heard this before, but the courage comes in doing something even if you're afraid, right?
Mhm.
So the fear may be there, but if you can kind of not just overcome it, but do it despite the fear. It's okay to
Yeah.
be afraid, right? Like
Mhm.
some a little bit of fear is healthy, but if you know that what you're trying to accomplish and your goal is really important to you, and it's bigger than any fears you might have, it's bigger than any embarrassment you might feel,
Mhm.
um, it's bigger than the foolishness you may feel of being laughed at, or
Mhm.
somebody ridiculing you, or somebody, some with quote unquote hater is
Yeah.
is watching
Yeah.
and hoping that you fail, right? If you
Mhm.
can if you can kind of work past that and do it despite being afraid, that's actual courage, right? Because anybody could do something if they don't care, or if they don't feel anything about it, or if there's nothing at stake. It's easy to go out there, put yourself out there. But if you feel that fear and you do it anyway, that's where the accomplishment is. That's where
Mhm.
that's gold.
Yeah, and people respect that. Like, look, you will be laughed at and you will be ridiculed to a
Oh
certain
yeah.
extent.
Oh
You will
yeah.
be. It's no ifs, ands, or buts
Trust me.
about it. But the people who have gone through the same journey as you will appreciate you. Those are the people that you want to surround yourselves with. You know what I mean? You don't want to. There's people who are afraid and never take that leap. They never do what you're going to do. They never attempt to do what you're attempting to do, and they'll stand back and they'll tell you that you're foolish. They'll make fun of you. They're saying you don't know what you're doing. They're saying you're terrible. They'll say these things to you. But the fact that you're willing to do that and they aren't says a lot about you and them.
Yeah. Do
So
it scared.
fearlessness.
Yeah, do it anyway.
Do it
Is
in
my
spite of them.
takeaway. Yeah, do it scared. If you're scared, do it
Yeah.
scared, because
Yeah.
feel it like that's what I think of when I think of fearlessness. Not
Mhm.
just not being like kind of without fear,
Yeah.
but overcoming that feeling,
Mhm.
doing it anyway. Rush in even if you feel scared, right?
Yeah.
Um
I remember my uncle had this like clown that there was these this clown is a
unless there's a
clown
clown,
head.
because I'm scared of clowns.
Yo,
So
it was
unless
a
there's a
clown
clown,
head. It was a clown head.
do it unless there's a clown involved. That's the takeaway.
And he had this what do they call the clownophobia? What do they call it? What's the official, you know?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, we got
I don't even
that.
want to know. I don't even want to focus on that at all. But go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So he had a clown head above his door that led down to his basement when I was a little kid. I remember it like it was 5 minutes ago. And once you walk down into his basement, this clown would make this laugh. And it was the craziest, most blood curdling, horrifying laugh to like an 8 or 9 year old that you would. And for years, I could not walk down into his basement because he had this clown thing. I mean, just like it's giving me goosebumps thinking about it now. When my parents would take me over there, they would have to like carry me down the steps and I would bury my head in my father's shoulder, or my mother would have to hold my hand just to go down into the basement because this clown thing, and I knew it was there. I knew once you opened the door and you looked at it, it just scared the death out of me. But one day I was so embarrassed like of myself. I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna go downstairs. And I ran. I'm not saying that I didn't stand up, looked at that old raggedy clown in his fake eyes and walked out and say, you got the best of me. Oh, I bolted down the stairs. I almost fell down the stairs. I ran so fast down the stairs. But the fact that I did it made me feel a certain way when I got to the bottom. So gradually I could go, I would, when I went down the house, I wasn't afraid to walk down those stairs for this creepy clown, you
Why didn't
know?
he? Why didn't he move the clown, Rance? Why didn't he just move the clown someplace? He had to know you were afraid after a
Oh
while.
yeah, everybody knew I was
So
afraid of
so
it.
why
Maybe
didn't
he
he
thought it was
just?
funny.
Yeah, why didn't he just move the clown? That seems cruel, man.
You
That
know?
seems I don't know, man.
Or
This
maybe he
story,
was trying to teach me fearlessness.
maybe, man, maybe, but this I don't know, man. This story makes me I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. Just move the clown. Wouldn't you move the clown? Like if you knew there's a kid in the house that's scared of this clown, like you're
Yeah,
just
I
gonna
would
leave the
probably move
clown.
the
I would have
clown,
moved
yo.
it.
I would probably move the clown.
Yeah, man. What were people on back in the days?
It was the
Like
80s,
the old
man. It was
yeah
the
the
80s, man. It
older
was the
the
80s,
older
yo.
older generation, man. They had like a strange sense of humor or a
Hmm.
strange way to teach you lessons.
Yeah,
Everything was I'm gonna teach this boy a lesson. Everything was
yeah,
a
yeah.
jeez, man.
Don't be scared. It's nothing real. It's just a toy.
Can't be scared of nothing. Can't be upset about anything. Like, what is wrong with you? I don't know, man. This story's terrible, man. It's a terrible story.
Shout out to the baby boomer. Shout out to the baby boomer generation.
Yeah, man. What is wrong with them? Could have just moved the clown somewhere else.
Could have.
What kind of grown person has a clown in the basement anyway?
It was a.
Like, come on, man.
Needless to say, you would have went nowhere near that.
Nah, I would have went. I might have. I don't know what I would have done. Who knows, man? I'm not gonna say what I would have done.
You ever see that movie, Killer Clowns from Outer Space? You ever saw that movie?
Yeah, man. I've only seen.
Joint?
I've never seen the whole movie, obviously, because I really don't like clowns, right? Even to this day, like I don't like clowns. So I've never seen the whole movie, but I've seen clips of it, and it's just clowns are creepy, man. I'm not gonna lie, clowns creep me out to this day. To this day.
So there you have it, the 5 pillars of excellence.
Fearlessness. Oh man.
Oh man.
I feel like we need to do this whole episode over again. And focus on Kobe.
Oh my gosh.
Focus on the Mamba.
We said from day one, you never know what you're gonna get. You never know what you're gonna get out of us.
Yeah.
You know? So this concludes our latest episode of the Gen Expertise Podcast. Shout out to our day 24s now.
Day 24.
Shout out to our day ones and everyone in between. And as usual, and as always, shout out to our day one.
Absolutely.
And shout out to whoever's listening to us out in Germany, too.
Oh, we got somebody in Germany listening?
We got somebody in Germany out there who listen to us. So we have Finland, we have Brazil, we have Germany. Yeah, Danke. Danke.
Yeah. They're jamming in Germany.
Jamming in Germany.
Wow. That's an inside joke, I guess.
Yeah. So, you know what, man?
Since we are prolific.
That's right, brother. We are prolific. We're fearlessly prolific at this point.
Fearlessly prolific.
Fearlessly prolific.
We're obsessively prolific.
Oh.
We're relentlessly prolific.
Obsessively, resiliently prolific. We will be back next week. Same Gen X time, same Gen X place.
Absolutely.
Thank you for putting up with us this week.
Yeah, if you made it this far, you are a true fan. You deserve a prize. I don't know what we're going to give out, but as soon as we get some merch, if you made it this far in the podcast, let us know. Hit us up on Instagram or somewhere on social media.
Somewhere.
And we owe
we got a mug for you or something, yo.
You owe you a t-shirt, a mug, or something.
We got something for you, yo. And especially shout out to those who still listen to us past Quitters Day, because that's important too. Because you made it.
If it was your resolution, if you're listening to us as part of your resolution,
yes, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. So we will see you, and power to the podcast.
Power to the podcast.
Peace.